If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun. And this is where we are right now. We are talking Nico Williams to Arsenal talks scheduled. I'm gonna be letting you know when have they gonna hit obviously schedule these talks. Then I'm obviously gonna be taking you through the story of the guy called Rabiot. After Rabiot, we're going to be talking Mesut Ozil, hailing Mikel Arteta, and lastly, Luka Modric, new deal at the team of Real Madrid after Kylian Mbappe was really unveiled, I think, on Tuesday. Smash the like button, comment, and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And this is what we do in here onto the Rokani Media Football. So we are powered by Mono Gadgets, and you know what Mono Gadgets deals in if at all you've been a regular onto this channel. Mono Gadgets are dealers in new and used UK phones, and in so doing you'll find yourself really getting the best service that you want. Obviously, call them on +256 70 99 88 665. You know, I've gone ahead to see very many people asking me, Rokani, what do you make about the prices of the phones and really the laptops, you know, in the comment section. But I'm not the person selling this, right? You have to inquire from Mono Gadgets 256 and call +256 70 99 88 665. That is what we are having into the mix. So this is where we are right now. Smash the like button close to 300 times, and we are talking Nico Williams, but support this sponsor. If at all you want to get a new phone or a laptop, used UK used laptop or phone, you can as well call them onto that number, and the rest will be history. Now, Nico Williams is one of those players that has always gone ahead to attract huge attention at Arsenal, and we are having a fly on the wall coming in through from Arsenal, and that fly on the wall is known as, you know the name already, the guy is called Team Ticks. He's called Team News and Ticks. He's really a fly on the wall at the club of Arsenal, and I think I've always gone ahead obviously let you know of how good this guy is, and he has told us that I've had rumors Arsenal we are due to speak to Nico Williams this week to see if there is any chance of persuading him to join us. The rumor was Arsenal have prepared a rice-like presentation. I spoke to someone at the club who reiterated we absolutely love him, and we'll take a chance if we get it. So Arsenal are totally interested in Nico Williams, and when I came in through and we told you that Fofana has gone ahead obviously go to a different side, and that side was called AC Milan, some people in the comment section asked me, who told you that Arsenal wanted him, you know? And that's how they went ahead to ask me, and I was like, how naive are people? You get? These stories come out because interest has been confirmed by the sources that we are talking to. So as it stands, Arsenal is really one of those teams that have gone ahead to show huge interest in Nico Williams, and this guy is close to the club and is telling us that the person close to the club he talks to, he reiterated that absolutely Arsenal love Nico Williams. That is it. There is love, and it's deliberate that Arsenal want to really sign this player, and talks have gone ahead obviously be scheduled this week to see to it that Arsenal convinces Nico Williams to come in through and really play for the club of Arsenal. I've already told you that amongst all the right wingers that are really available, that are really left right now, I think Nico Williams suits Arsenal better. Why? He can play as a right forward, he can play as a left forward in what he does as a player. So that's what makes him a very, very, very good player. And I tell you, he will really tick very many boxes when he comes in at Arsenal. But Arsenal stand a very huge opposition coming in through from Barcelona, who have gone ahead to prove to us that they really want the player, and they've shown huge intent. And by the way, him and Dani Olmo have gone ahead to be made the priority signings of Barcelona this summer transfer window. The question is, do they have the money to land the two deals, and who are they gonna really go in first? Because we all know that they've gone ahead to obviously reduce their debt as Barcelona from 650 million euros to 450 million euros. That is the side of Barcelona. So after that, they have a chance to obviously sign a player, and their players, they feel like they have to sell. You get? And I've gone ahead to see Rafinha being linked to Arsenal again, a story that I'm gonna get to propagate very well and really coming through with what we call the news and information about it. So when you look at Nico Williams, he's young. As I've always told you, that he ticks the boxes for Arsenal, super fast. And very many people have always gone ahead to say, I feel for Martinelli if I tell Nico Williams comes in through. But I tell you, Nico Williams won't come in through to obviously distort only Martinelli or really threaten the position of Martinelli, but also the position of Bukayo Saka. Because, trust me, at a certain point X, Arsenal will have to play Nico Williams on the right, right? And what he'll give you on the right is something that Saka will not get you. I tell you this, Nico Williams is a very good player. And when you look at the left-forwarded players Arsenal really having, Trossard and Martinelli, I don't see any urge of Arsenal getting in a player targeting that position. I think Nico Williams is a player brought in because of his versatility, as he can really play on both wings. But the big question is, Nico Williams will have to obviously be convinced by Arsenal in the talks that have gone ahead to be scheduled this week to see to it that they convince him to come through at Arsenal. And Arteta will be like, I want to play you this side. Is Arteta planning to offload Leandro Trossard next season? Because if you bring in Nico Williams and you're not willing to let Martinelli go, because Martinelli signed a 4 plus a 1 year optional contract. You get those are 5 years, and he's still at Arsenal until 2029. You understand? That means Trossard, who is really, I think I was going to hit, is it 30 years? It's 29, is going to hit 30, might be the culprit who might leave the club of Arsenal. But when you look at the performance of Leandro Trossard, especially last season, would you move him on easily? That is the big question, because Trossard came up with very many starts last season into the Premier League, as you all know about them. In the Premier League alone, he scored 12 goals. In the Champions League, he scored 4 goals. And in the FA Community Shield, he scored 1, meaning that he scored 17 goals and he had 2 assists throughout the season. So how can you obviously dislodge of a player who has 17 goals for your club and think of really getting in another player? So that is what is really baffling Mikel Arteta. And with the talks they are going into for Nico Williams this week, they have to convince the player. They have to convince the player and really tell him, please, you have to be doing ABCD to let everything move on as planned. So that is where the problem comes in with the side of Arsenal, because if they cannot convince him to come in through and play for the club of Arsenal with a ready position, then I think we'll be like, I would rather go to the side of Barcelona. But Arsenal have to persuade him and sweet talk him to really look to coming to Arsenal, obviously. And at that age, any player would love to be playing in more and more and more games. I tell you, every player will be knocking on the door of the manager, calling in for more and more and more game time. That's what people are really trying to forget. So for me, I believe the huge factor is not the money, you know, because he has a release clause of like 54 million euros? That is like 40 to 43 million pounds. Those are just peanuts for the club of Arsenal, right? But convincing the player and persuading him to come to Arsenal, that's where the party is. You understand? That's where the problem is. Are you going to convince the player to come in through and really play for the side of Arsenal, right? So I'll tell you, it's really going to be a tricky deal for Arsenal to do. But Nico Williams is one of those Arsenal is planning to talk to and persuade this week, because he wants to obviously see his future resolved very, very, very soon before anything really goes on to another level. But as Arsenal trying to persuade the player, there is a team that is knocking on the door, and that team goes by the names of Barcelona. And we've been told by Fabrizio Romano that negotiations between Barcelona and Nico Williams' agent ongoing as planned. Hans Flink wants him, Deco and the board. Also, timing is crucial as Barcelona try to anticipate Premier League clubs. So the talks between the agent of Nico Williams and Barcelona are really ongoing. Hans Flink wants to sign the player and even the board of Barcelona have gone ahead to approve the signing of the guy called Nico Williams. And as it stands, I tell you, Barcelona is leading the race to sign the player known as Nico Williams. Let no one really lie to you. It's Barcelona leading the race. And in so doing, no team has gone ahead to come close to obviously really compete with Barcelona. But Barcelona anticipate that there is going to be a very, very, very huge force coming in through from the Premier League to obviously try to hijack the deal. Because as Barcelona is leading the race, obviously Arsenal is one of those that is orchestrating a very huge show to obviously try to lure Nico Williams into the club of Arsenal. That is the most important bit of it all. So we are here to wait and see how things pan out. But teams are really showing huge interest in signing this guy known as Nico Williams. And the other story that will threaten all Arsenal fans is this. Again, Fabrizio Romano. More on Nico Williams and Barcelona. The agent has met with Barcelona and director Deco. Face-to-face meeting took place in Zaragoza, as called by Gerard Romero. Barcelona have made their proposal to Nico Williams, trying to agree personal terms before English clubs. Now, Arsenal are trying to hijack the deal. That is it. Arsenal are trying to hijack the deal. And in the course of hijacking the deal, they need to move on fast, because Barcelona has already gone ahead to take a further step that every Arsenal fan would like to hear, that his side has gone ahead to take one. So, in so doing, all they have to do is to come up and obviously get a better position to see to it that they really position themselves better, as Nico Williams is heading towards the side of Barcelona, with personal terms expected to be agreed very soon. Arsenal needs to come up with a worthy, convincing tank to see to it that they really get the player in. So, Nico Williams to Arsenal is one of those that is not close even. It's not advanced, but Barcelona are trying to agree personal terms, right? And in the due course of agreeing, if at all they agree personal terms, all what Arsenal has to do is go in, talk to the player, also convince him, and really show him where he's really going to be benefiting playing at the club of Arsenal. I think that's what Arsenal are supposed to do for the player known as Nico Williams. But Nico Williams as a player, I think will be open to join Arsenal, but it depends on what Arsenal puts on the table. Because we all know that nowadays, it's all about what you put on the table, right? It's all about what you put on the table, and nothing will really stop you from obviously getting to where you deserve to be. So, as it stands, it's very much important to note that Arsenal are really working on a deal of a player known as Carafiori, and are they willing to put the deal of Ricardo Carafiori on a hold to obviously get in this deal of the man called Nico Williams done and dusted? Because pausing that deal will obviously cause Arsenal some huge problems. I tell you, it will cause Arsenal some huge problems, because the other guy might be like, these guys don't need me. These guys won't need me. They won't really need me. And that's the problem that might really happen into the mix. And we are here to wait and see what is really going to be happening in here onto the channel. So we are waiting for Nico Williams to Arsenal and see how things are really going to pan out. But it looks like it's not going to be an easy do in here, as we obviously get ourselves up and running. So that is Nico Williams for you, and Arsenal have to obviously kick in quick if they want to get Nico Williams deal done and dusted. If they don't kick in quick, I tell you, it's not obviously gonna come out as they want it to be, because very many teams are really showing huge intent to obviously get this deal over the line. So we are here to wait and see, but I see very many people into the comment section throwing lots of things about the guy. But the fact is, Barcelona is leading the race. That is it. If you're an Arsenal fan outside there, unless Arsenal comes out and obviously puts in a very huge intent or a very, 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 very huge attack into the deal, it will require them to pull what we call a miracle to get this guy at the side of Arsenal, because Barcelona are trying to agree personal terms. And you all know the process of the deal. You get, first and foremost, a team has to obviously talk to the player they need and convince him. After convincing the player, they agree personal terms. After agreeing personal terms, they contact the club that is willing to sell him. Then they agree. After agreeing the deal, the medical takes place, and then the deal is made official. Now, as it stands, Barcelona is 2 steps ahead of Arsenal, but never say never. Arsenal has one of the best teams obviously negotiating deals, and they might find themselves in a better position to obviously convince this guy to obviously coming through and really put in a very, very huge shift as anticipated into the mix. So let's obviously go into the comment section and see. Michael Francis is telling me that, hey, this is Siketa Mikel Francis. How are you, bro? I wish I were Arteta. I could have brought Nico to compete with Saka. Obviously, Nico Williams offers you a lot. And I've already, if at all you really saw my live, all my video that I did when Arsenal was knocked out of the UEFA Champions League, I told them that the problem that saw Arsenal not be that team in as far as competing with Bayern Munich is concerned to knock them out was because they lacked a player who can act in tight spaces to obviously open up the pitch and really chop in or out immediately. You get? And that is exactly what went ahead to happen that side. So Arsenal need to come up with a proper decision of really getting in players that can obviously act well, because Saka is not all that player. He's good, but he's not that kind of player who can rely on when it comes obviously breaking teams that have gone ahead obviously compacted themselves into the first third of the pitch. The same applies to Martinelli. So you need a player like Nico Williams who can really pull out a moment of magic in a minute, you know, all in a blink of an eye, to see to it that everything really goes out to happen. And I think Nico Williams will obviously give Saka a very good push to obviously make him one of the best players in the world, because I believe he's pushing himself, but it's different to push yourself and being pushed by a player. When you look at the performances of Saka, like if Saka is performing like that when no one is really competing with him, how is he going to really be performing if at all he gets someone else who is really competing with him, right? It's really going to be a different story altogether, not so? Then Kahid JR says, legendary. All right, thank you very much for watching through. Now, Wasike Jim, a big up, bro. Williams, all sunny, all forward. I think for me, as it stands, I would rather go for Nico Williams. Young, you know, the future is really bright. And the other guy is Leroy Sen is good, but my problem with him is one. He has turned into an injury-prone player. That's my problem with him. Leroy Sen has turned into an injury-prone player. That's where I really fall out with him. But he's good and he can come in and do the needful, but he's the experience that Arsenal needs to inject into their team. But the problem is he's an injury-prone player. Then Wasike Jimmy, I would prefer Williams and Victor Gyökeres, right? That will be a very huge combination that can really create in a lot for the club of Arsenal and really bring in a lot of things into the mix. Then Amoto Sunday, I think, if Arsenal will get him, I don't think Arsenal will get him. How are you doing? I'm doing great. And I also believe Arsenal, it's going to be hard for Arsenal to get the player because Barcelona are trying to agree personal terms with the player. And the meeting was held in Zaragoza in Spain. And after that meeting was held, you now get to understand that it is not going to be the same as anticipated. Babiesiza Vicent, that is great. But is William surely joining Arsenal? I've told you, Barcelona is a step ahead of Arsenal, right? And Arsenal are trying to obviously talk to his agent this week and obviously see to it that they convince the player and the agent obviously come to the London side and neglect the side of Barcelona, right? But him and Lamine Yamal obviously might want to be playing in the same team. That is it. Cash Ivan, talk about Ishak deal too. I think it's one of those deals that I don't think will come to pass because Arsenal admire Ishak, but Newcastle really wanting a lot of money, right? And Arsenal cannot spend 150 million pounds on one player, yet they're even struggling to obviously accomplish the deal of a player called they're even struggling to really get in a deal of a player called what's his name? what's his name? The player is called Carafiori. You know, 5 million euros are really stopping this deal from happening. So if they're negotiating down for 5 million euros, then Arsenal cannot go in for Alexandra Isak. That is it. Katonda, Andrew Williams is a magical player to compete with Martinelli. All right, then that means Leandro Trossard is one of those players that he will obviously not want to really have, because I know Trossard, having gone ahead to score 17 goals last season, there is no way you convince him that you are going to bench him, right? Then I'm having John Martin Elisha. Good afternoon, bro. Does Nico Williams want to join Arsenal? I think we'll be positive to the move to join Arsenal, right? But it depends on what offers you put on the table. And the first offer that this guy will be listening to is the playing time. Are you willing to give him the playing time that he wants? That is the huge question, you guys. Is Arsenal willing to give him the time that he wants? You get? That is the most important bit of it all. Unless Arsenal, if Arsenal are really willing to do that, then I believe the player will be like, all right, let's obviously do that job and really get it done and dusted. So that is it. The big thing is, will Arsenal go ahead to obviously give the player the amount of money the playing time he wants? I think that's the starting bit of the negotiation. On the monies, I know Arsenal can offer a better contract than Barcelona. We all know that Barcelona is into a very serious financial problem, and they don't want to obviously get in players and offer them huge amounts of money. If it was way back when Barcelona was financially stable and their financial muscle was still as stiff as it was, they would have gone ahead to offer a deal of like 300,000 euros per week to Nico Williams, and there is no way Nico Williams would have gone ahead to obviously say no to Barcelona. But I believe Arsenal can offer a salary in the same region like that of Barcelona is offering. But at Barcelona, Nico Williams is going to be a starter. They'll be promising him that you are going to be a starter. That is the huge problem. And what will Arsenal be offering to the side of Barcelona? What will Arsenal be offering to the side of Nico Williams? You know, because they're having Martinelli, Trossard, you know, he's competing with 3 players. And at Barcelona, he gets straight into the team of Barcelona. Because when you look at their left forwards, no one is obviously going to come in and really compete with him, unless otherwise Ansu Fati steps up his game in the preseason. You get Emmanuel Orio Korot, good afternoon, bro. Then John Martin. I heard that Liverpool wants to hijack Calafiori deal. Is it true? Not yet true. Not yet true. The guy only wants to go ahead and really play for Arsenal. That is it. And according to my sources, that is not true. Clement Osekeny, hello guys, hello. Then Mozora Harry, hey Aradi, Arsenal cannot sign Nico Williams because Calafiori deal is not yet done. You never know. Guys, let me give you an example of Manchester United. You know, Manchester United were advanced in the deal of, first it was Gerard Braithwaite. They made the first bid, and all of us thought that the first signing for the club of Manchester United was going to be Gerard Braithwaite. You understand? Then, from nowhere, United went ahead and obviously agreed personal terms with Matthias de Ligt, and then they are negotiating a structure of the deal with Bayern Munich, and we are like, Matthias de Ligt might be the first player to come in through. From nowhere, they went ahead and obviously attacked the deal of Zexi, hijacked it, and Zexi was brought in through the club of Manchester United. And as we thought that maybe de Ligt is really going to be the next signing for the club of Manchester United, yesterday, United agreed a deal with Lille to sign Lenny Yoro. So, it has no formula, you know. It has no formula because 43 million pounds might be really a very small amount for Arsenal. And they'll be like, Nico Williams, we cannot miss out. And remember, for Carafiori, that deal can go till kingdom come because the player has gone ahead to give them green light that I want to join Arsenal. But for Nico Williams, Arsenal has to obviously battle it out with very many teams. Chelsea in the mix, I think even Barcelona and very many other teams, meaning that Arsenal can pause the deal of Carafiori and obviously attack the situation of Nico Williams. And I tell you, if Arsenal go into those negotiations, right, you know, and they convince the player, I tell you, they'll first pay the amount of money, or they first trigger the buyout clause of Nico Williams at Atletico Bilbao, you know, first than that of Carafiori. So, I tell you, it can happen. It can happen, and in the nick of time, because Carafiori has no competition, and this player is really there is huge competition for the player. Then Makabu Mbale, hey, is a good player. Please bring this man. All right, Kutesa Hussein. What about Gyökeres? Gyökeres, I think Arsenal really working on these deals, and the amount of money is 85 million pounds, though it is alleged that it can really be knocked down to 60 million pounds. But Arsenal like, let's first get in Carafiori and Nico Williams first. So they are working on those deals, and we're waiting to see how things really pan out. Then I'm having Leonard Bwire. Here is Leonard Bwire Onyango, aka Hele from Mayenge Busia, Kenya. A fan of Mayenge Santos, my brother from another mother, Rokani. We really love you from. We really love you from. Please tell me about the deal of Victor Gyökeres. I've just gonna obviously give you a hint on Victor Gyökeres. David Sozi. Thanks, brother, for your updates and time. We are watching you from Dubai. Love you, bro. All right, thank you. Then I'm having Uchena Magnus. Good afternoon, bro. I'm Uchema Magnus from Nigeria. It will be very difficult for us not to sign Nico Williams because the guy wants to remain in Spanish club. That is not the case. That is not the case. You get? They can find themselves in a proper position of doing the needful, right? But I tell you, a lot can happen, you know? Arsenal can come in through with the proper deal, and the agent will be like, let's go this side. And one thing you need to note is that Nico Williams is still young. You know, if he was like a 25, 26, 27-year-old player, it would have been hard for him to obviously cross, because we all know to it that the player would have found himself into a situation of like, I don't want to obviously miss out on the opportunity to play for Barcelona. But right now, Arsenal can play for... The guy can come in throughout Arsenal and really play for like how many seasons for? At the age of 25, 26, he can sign for Barcelona. So I don't think that can really be a reason stopping the guy to come in through and really play into this beautiful game of football. Mokwana Richard, hey, already I'm listening from West Nile. Williams is a fantastic player. Thank you, my people of West Nile. All right. Moses Nabireba, Arsenal has never been serious about transfers. All right, let's wait and see. Kahendo Oliver, but I think they're serious, and I've always told you that. The problem, it's not even a problem. It's an advantage, you know. Arsenal has a very good squad right now that can even commence the Premier League and obviously start off and compete with Man City. And that's why they are taking their time. You get? They want to gate players that I believe are missing in their system, because Arsenal are really doing good. So I believe they're doing the right thing, and they're taking their time, because they know it that no player they feel like they want to get in who is really missing their squad, and they believe they can obviously get them in at any time they feel like they want, right? Then Kahendo Oliver, Mister, I joined you late, but how are you doing? If you joined me late, you can as well go ahead and really go to the start of the video and rewatch it. But guys, smash the like button close to 300 times. Guys, smash the like button close to 300 times. And guys, remember, you can buy a super chat for this channel and really support us. There is a $sign down there. You can as well go ahead and obviously buy a super chat, because we are having very many comments. If at all I miss out on your comment, don't really feel like I've gone ahead to obviously isolate you. But if you buy a super chat, it's very easy for your comment to be highlighted. So support this channel by buying a super chat, right? We want to really improve this studio and really make it better and better and better. So I'm having Kahendo Oliver. Then I'm having Mui Mui. Hello, Mr. Aradi. We need Victor Gyökeres, and we cannot compete with Barcelona to get William. Moreover, we have not even completed the deal of Carafiori. I understand, but it depends on the plan of Arsenal. You know, we as fans have our own opinions, you know, and we are entitled to them, but they are not must-dos by the club. I tell you, the club of Arsenal will have people who watch these channels because they want to hear what the thoughts of the fans are, but they'll borrow some and present him to the board, but the board will obviously have the best taste over into what they want to do and what they don't want to do, right? Then John Martin Elisha Aradi, if Arsenal wants this trophy, they should have Bruno Guimaraes, Rice, and Odegaard. I've already said about Bruno Guimaraes that for me, get a Bruno Guimaraes in, form a midfield three of Odegaard, Rice, and Bruno Guimaraes. Then, after getting in Bruno Guimaraes, then the rest will be history. And I've always told you that people have always gone ahead to say Arsenal needs a striker, but I tell you, if you get in Carafiori to obviously play as the left back and he's going to create chances like you see Benjamin White at least averaging 5 crosses per game into the 18-yard box area of the opponent. If you add on Carafiori to get him more 5 crosses per game, those are 10 crosses. That will increase the number of goals that Arsenal really score, and the attempts will obviously improve. Bruno Guimaraes is another one who will obviously come in through and strengthen that midfield. Getting Nico Williams, for me, those 3 signings can take Arsenal to the trophy. I tell you this. They can take Arsenal to the trophy. And remember, you are having a player who is coming in as a new signing, and you all know him well. He goes by the names of Julian Timber, right? We are having Sois Peter. Sorry about it. Arsenal wasting time instead of buying Jokares. Arteta is trying to be on Harvard's side. No striker, no trophy. That is out. I'm here to tell you, Arsenal just need to create very many more chances for any number 9 that's going to be available. Kai Havertz scored 13 goals in the Premier League last season, meaning that if he really started as a number 9 for Arsenal, he would have gone ahead to score 20 goals. That is it. So all what Arsenal has to do is to build up a very good structure around Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus to come in through and really score those goals. Simple. And how is that structure going to be improved? Get in Carafiori, play as a left back, creating very many chances. Get in Bruno Guimaraes, play as a CDM, allow Declan Rice to obviously advance, play as a number 8 at the club of Arsenal, such that Rice will get you close to 15 goals a season because he can. Last season, we saw Declan Rice score very many goals, and let me be exact in here. Let's obviously see Rice. Declan Rice. When look at his stats for Arsenal, he had 7 goals in the Premier League and 8 assists. Those are 15 goal involvements, plus 1 assist in the UEFA Champions League. Those are 16 goal involvements, meaning that if you bring in Bruno Guimaraes to play into that position, Declan Rice will obviously play a little bit high up the pitch, and he will obviously get you more goals and assists. I think that is the best decision that has to be taken by the side of Arsenal. I think the striker should be the last person to sign. That's what people are really getting wrong, because it's not that Arsenal is not scoring goals, but they need to create more chances and get in more teams, no players that can score very many goals. Like Declan Rice, he scored 7 goals in the league. Can he really go ahead and really add on like 7 to really make it to double figures? 14 goals. Odegaard should take his tally to 15. Saka should take his tally to 20. You get Martinelli should take his tally to 20. That's what Arsenal needs. And Kai Havertz took his tally to 20. And they can reach hit those levels if at all the team really plays very well. That is it. There is Buire. My brother Rokani David, please. Can I get your personal number that we can communicate when you're offline? There is something I want to inquire from you, please. Are you into the group? Are you into the WhatsApp group? Join the WhatsApp group, right? After joining the WhatsApp group, you'll obviously go ahead and really talk to me there, right? Then I'm having Natumanya Osbat. Sometimes Arteta prioritizes some deals like Havertz. So nice. Williams can be possible. Yeah, Williams can be a possible deal. Arsenal can really get it out of the way. Then Michael Frank, my brother, why all this delay from all the deal Arsenal is trying to do? All right, we are here. Zuma Richard, good afternoon, brother. What is Arsenal waiting for? Arsenal is trying to obviously go ahead and really attack the deal immediately this week to hijack it from the side of Barcelona. Then Zuma Richard, good afternoon, brother. All right, Michael Frank, I also don't see Arsenal signing Nico Williams. It's a 50-50. Anything can happen in the transfer window. Never say that. You cannot see a team really signing a player. You get Arsenal can really go ahead and really do it. Kwame, Aboje, Williams should sign for us, obviously. Moses, Nabi Reba Aradi, I'll always like you because of your truth compared to others. Thanks so much. Thank you. Kwame Abogaye, what's holding up on Carafiori? Obviously, Arsenal don't want to pay. Arsenal don't want to pay that amount of money at once. You know, remember, the buyout clause is the amount of money you should trigger. When you trigger it, you're supposed to pay it at once. Now, Arsenal came up with a payment plan of 45 plus 5 million euros in add-ons, you know, and Bologna was like, if at all you're going to do like that, then you need to do the needful. You know, you need to do the needful, right? You need to do the needful and obviously convince these players, you know. And after convincing the player, the team told Arsenal, please, if you're gonna pay it in a structure of like 3 years, this is what you're supposed to do. Go ahead and add more 5 million euros for that. And Arsenal is like, we cannot pay that amount of money. They tried to talk to Basel, and Basel was like, we are not cutting the price. So meaning that Arsenal has to obviously trigger that at once, all say, we are going to pay it at all in intervals, and then they'll obviously get in the 55 million euros. That's what is holding up the deal. Arsenal doesn't want to trigger the clause, and if I don't want to trigger the clause, then you have to pay more than the clause, and that is the 5 million euros that is going to need to be added. So negotiations between Arsenal and Carafiori are really still going on. Then we are having here Obet. That is his email. All right. Kwame Aboge, Jokaris is still interested in joining Arsenal. Yeah, he's still. John Martin says, already I'm sorry to post this question. Does the board of Arsenal get this information we share on this page? Yeah, they do. They do. They do. I tell you, they do. Watch. And they are always on alert because they need to know what the fans are really thinking. That is it. They need to know what the fans are really thinking. Now, I've gone ahead to attend to most of your comments, and let's obviously get into the mix. And Fabrizio Romano, sorry about that, has dropped a very huge hint on Adrian Rabiot. He's set to leave Juventus and pick new club as free agent this summer. Unless something crazy happens, he's not going to sign a new deal at Juventus despite the proposal. Rabiot's camp already in contact with several clubs over the move. Now, Adrian Rabiot is one of those people that is really hugely loved by different clubs, and his talent is really undoubted. He has the experience that you can obviously talk about, and Juventus cannot meet his demands. He wants a salary of like 9 million euros a year, and Juventus cannot obviously pay it. And teams in queue, even Arsenal has been linked to Rabiot, Manchester United, Liverpool, Real Madrid, and very many others. Real Madrid are looking at Rabiot as the right replacement for the guy called Toni Kroos, and it will depend on the amount of money this guy really goes ahead to ask. But he's a very good player, and his destination might really come in through to obviously give us the best of a competition into this deal. And whoever comes in the best offer will really give the guy the best deal, and that's where he's going to be playing next. But I know he will either be playing into what we call the La Liga or the Premier League. That is it, you know. So that's a hint I wanted to drop for you, for this guy known as Rabiot, that most of you really know about his status, that he wants to leave the side of Juventus, and he's gonna be clicking 30 years of age, and I don't believe that he will not really get him suitors from the Premier League, and teams will obviously try to sign him. You know, Arsenal might obviously say, we are looking in for Merino, he's 20 million pounds, and him being a player who is left-footed, with Rabiot also left-footed, can obviously get him in. But we all know how toxic he is. You know, he's a man who has a mother who acts as his manager, and after acting as his manager, a lot really comes up and really does the needful. So, as it stands, it's obviously very important to note about that. So, from that guy known as Adrian Rabiot, let's obviously head to another story coming in through from the man known as Mesut Ozil, a man that really fell out badly with Mikel Arteta, terminated his contract with Arsenal. He has finally come up and really said the following to Mikel Arteta. He said, I see him as a successful coach. He has achieved success in a short period. So, this guy, known as Mesut Ozil, fell out with Mikel Arteta, not so? And after they fell out with Mikel Arteta, a lot went ahead to happen, and words were really crossing everywhere. In the due course, of words crossing everywhere, we've gone ahead to know how good Arteta is. He has gone ahead to prove him wrong that all I wanted you to do at the club of Arsenal is what you would have gone ahead to do. By the way, what went ahead obviously stopped the talent of Mesut Ozil to be that high and huge was all about not having discipline. But we all know how talented this guy was and how huge Arsenal needed this player. And the experience he had, he would have gone ahead to long last here, like the guy known as Granit Xhaka, you get? But it reached a time when he's really trying to obviously get himself into things that Mikel Arteta saw as distractionary to what he was trying to be at the club of Arsenal. What was Mikel Arteta trying to be at the side of Arsenal? Arteta was trying to build a side that could come in through and obviously offer what we call huge discipline at the club of Arsenal, right? And Ozil, who was a player that most of the players were really admiring at Arsenal, was not really following up what we call the disciplinary code for the club of Arsenal, and that really went ahead to cause him huge problems in there. So I think that was the problem for the guy called Mesut Ozil, and by so doing, he really left. And by the time he left, he fell out with Mikel Arteta. But for me, I like it when a player comes in through to obviously acknowledge that he was the problem, he has been doing something wrong, and he is now giving the manager his flowers. And Ozil has gone ahead to give Mikel Arteta his flowers, and that is really very exciting. I just like it when a person realizes his mistake, and after realizing his mistake, he comes in through and does the needful to appreciate that indeed the manager is right. Guys, smash the like button, smash it like no other. We are having 132 people watching in through, and only 56 people have gone ahead to smash the like button. Smash the like button, and the rest is really gonna be history into the mix. Now, Mesut Ozil retired from football, and I think Mikel Arteta is really one of those that is really in good contact with him, and they're really talking very, very well. Lastly, the last story I'm really running to obviously come into the comment section and obviously see to it that we commence this video in the next 15 minutes. Luka Modric renews his contract at Real Madrid until 2025. Remember, Real Madrid went ahead to obviously lose out onto Toni Kroos, and they were like, we can't obviously lose out on another experienced player at the club of Real Madrid. And that has gone ahead to obviously offer them a very good chance to obviously negotiate with Luka Modric. And Luka Modric has always said, I want to obviously end my career at Real Madrid. I don't know whether he will overcome the temptations of money, because his friend Cristiano Ronaldo will obviously try to lure him into a trap, right? He'll try to lure him into a trap, and he will try to see to it that everything really goes on as to plan. So, as it stands, I tell you, a lot is really happening, and there is no way you are gonna come out and really talk about some of the best players of this generation and not really hint onto the player called Luka Modric. Luka Modric is a very good player. He has obviously gone ahead to show huge intent that he will put in a very huge shift every time he's gone ahead to be called up to do the needful, and no one doesn't really respect him in the spheres of football. And if at all you don't respect this guy, then football is not meant for you. Not so. So, as it stands, obviously, we are here to wait and see how he's really going to be fitting that midfield of Real Madrid, because Real Madrid right now has Chiomini. They're having Rodrigo. What is that guy? There is this guy. What is this guy? I've forgotten his name. He plays for Uruguay, right? And he has been playing to that midfield very many times. You get? Let me get his name right. Let me get his names right. Valverde. They are having Valverde. They are having Camavinga. They are having Jude Bellingham. They are having Chiomini. You know, and now they're having this guy. Now we are waiting to see how that midfield of Real Madrid is going to be looking next season. So that is the huge weight. And I want to see how Carlo Ancelotti integrates this guy. But we all know to it that he's not so much into the plans of Real Madrid, but he has always gone ahead to really look good and serious every time he's being put onto the pitch to obviously put in the shift. So let me obviously go into your comments. Obet says, we need a striker in football. We get injuries, so Kai Havertz cannot be the only striker. Arsenal has Gabriel Jesus as another striker. And you people, when you look at the team of Arsenal, they need to obviously have a lot of creativity, right? They need to have a lot of creativity. That is it. Then Ronnie K, wherever comes, I don't care. All right, thank you. Then Mario says, Rabiot, come to Arsenal, we finish 7th. Hey, not really, not really. He's a very good player, by the way. But the problem is his discipline. He's an indisciplined player, and he can cause toxicity into the dressing room. That's the problem with the guy. You understand? That's the problem with the guy. Kwame Abogai, already, do you think Edu, who claims he's a scouting coach, really encourages Arsenal to sign players we want, such as Carafiori, Williams, Broby, or Gyökeres? Yeah, because they sit as a team. It's not a decision made by one person. All these players that you see Arsenal being linked to are players that have been scouted by Arsenal. I've always told you that every position that Arsenal wants to obviously put in a player has a short list of a minimum of 3 or 5 players. That's why when it comes to center forwards, you hear Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen, you hear Alexandra Isak, Broby, Zexi. You understand? That is it. So they scout these players and the decision is finally made by a group of people with Mikel Arteta inclusive, Edu inclusive, and very many others. Kwame Abogai, you are right. We need a striker. Okay, but I tell you, before Arsenal brings in a striker, I would prefer them to get in Carafiori first, Bruno Guimaraes, and the guy is called who? Nico Williams. Those 3 signings will put Arsenal in a better position to compete for the trophy, other than just getting in a striker only, right? Then Mario, Rabiot, lucky how he plays football, is known for big teams. I don't know what managers see on him. He's not ordinary, guys. He's not ordinary, but his problem has always been the discipline. That is it. He's not ordinary. He's a very good player. Ozil was a great player for the club. Yeah, he was a very good player, but they fell out with Mikel Arteta because of his discipline. You know, he's an indisciplined player. Then we are having Mutesa Sida Sami, Mr. Rokani. Thank you for your update. I'm Mutesa Sami from Ngoma Town. I love you so much. In the name of Jesus Christ, for God and my country, Uganda. All right, thank you very much for watching through. Kwame Aboyaje. Jesus isn't serious and he's injury prone. But for Gabriel Jesus, we can discuss about him forever. You get? We all know what he puts on the table for the club of Arsenal. You know, I've already told you what Arsenal has to do is simple. Get in a player like Nico Williams. When he comes in through, he's going to come in through and add 10 plus goals and 10 assists. You get? Carafiori, he might obviously come in through and get you like 6 assists, like those of Benjamin White. You get? Bruno Guimaraes at Newcastle, he scored 7-8 goals in a season. You get? Get him on, and when you add in those players in the club, you're going to have to add in 20 goals. Those 20 goals can really get you the trophies that you want, right? Henry Moses, good afternoon. Have just joined Ndugu. Nico Williams again, yeah. Arsenal are planning to obviously hold talks with Nico Williams this week. Although Barcelona is planning to agree personal terms before the end of this week with Nico Williams, Arsenal also plan to join the queue. And in the due course of planning to join the queue, they want to put in a better competitive edge into the mix. So that's what we had for you in here, and I'm having Boyka. Are they serious on Nico Williams or rumors? Arsenal are serious. The source that I've gone ahead to show you, that I was going to report this story, is really close to the side of Arsenal. And this guy known as Team News and Ticks. He's a fly on the wall close to the Arsenal. He has told us that Arsenal are due to speak to Nico Williams this week. So if there is any chance of persuading him to join Arsenal, you know, the rumor was Arsenal have prepared a rice-like presentation. I spoke to someone at the club who reiterated Arsenal absolutely love Nico Williams and will take a chance if Arsenal gets it. You understand? So that is exactly what is happening down the side of Arsenal. So guys, for everyone who's been part of this channel, just get to know that we are powered by Mono Gadgets 256. Mono Gadgets 256 is your #1 step center that will help you get a new phone and a new laptop. If you want UK used phones and laptops, you can as well call them on +256 7099 88 665. That is Mono Gadgets for you. They'll be at your service and they'll offer you the best services that you want. So if at all you want a new phone, WhatsApp them, call them, they'll respond to you or at you immediately, and the rest will be history. Now I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about 1. Hear me out. 1. Nico Williams to Arsenal talks scheduled. The meeting is set to happen this week. Do you think anything positive will come out of this meeting? Into the comment section below. Rabiot, free agent, confirmed by Juventus. Secondly, you can talk about Ozil giving Mikel Arteta his flowers, that he's one of the best managers. And lastly, we are going to be having something important about a talk of Modric being issued a new contract by Real Madrid. Do you think this contract is really worth it? All that and more into the comment section below. I'm having Christian. Are you sure that Arsenal? I'm not sure that Arsenal are going to get this player. I've told you, Arsenal are planning to talk. Arsenal are planning, or I've gone ahead to schedule talks with the agent of Nico Williams to obviously convince him and really make him divert his mind from Barcelona and really bring it to Arsenal. That is it. So guys, continue to subscribe. As it stands, we really want to hit 23,000 subscribers. Let's obviously do the needful. So in the next 1 hour, I'm gonna be recording a video, uploading it onto the upload section, video section, and then 3 hours from now, I'm gonna be returning to obviously get you more stories, and I'm gonna be streaming live and talking to you. So guys, thank you very much for watching it through. Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later, but endeavor to obviously support Mono Gadgets because they're also injecting cash into our beloved channel. That is the Rokani Media Football. They are our proud sponsors, and you can as well join our team, and you can as well join this channel and advertise with us, and we will not forsake you. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims